Hello, I am Melissa Ashley and welcome back to my channel. Today's vlog is a Q&A. I reached out on Instagram and on Facebook and asked if you all had any questions for me, and I've had quite a few back, so I'm going to answer some today for you. But before I continue, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. One of the first questions I got is, what do you look for in a friend? Over the years, I have had many friends, but there's only a handful that I really consider best or good friends. I think as you get older, your circle kind of gets smaller and smaller. So I guess making new friends is quite hard, but the traits that obviously I feel I look for in someone is honesty, kindness, good humour, trustworthy, and with a sense of adventure. They're definitely, I feel that I'm definitely someone who would take secrets to the grave if you asked me to. I would be supportive. I always try and be kind, and I'm always up for an adventure as long as my health allows it. So I think that, having friends with the similar kind of things that I have is definitely what I look for in a friend. My second question is, what are your pet hates in life in general? Only one really springs to mind, and that's bad manners. Manners cost nothing, and it really grates on me when, if you're at a shop and you hold a door open for somebody and they just walk through and don't acknowledge it, or you know, if you give something to someone or pass something, or ask to be passed something, please and thank you, those kinds of things. Like when people don't say those, it really, really annoys me. And I'm one of those people that if I have held a door open for someone and they walk through and like don't acknowledge it, I go, thank you, just to prove a point, because I'm a little bit petty like that, must admit. But it's because it's just acknowledge, just say thank you. So that's my biggest like pet hate, is definitely bad manners. Another question I had was, what is my oldest memory? Now this question actually came from my best friend, and she asked me this because it's a little bit of a thing between us about how good my memory is and how I remember such stupid facts and information or things we did, got up to when we went somewhere, and just my memory like that is crazy good. I think this is the reason why she asked this question. And now I want to bear in mind that I am 43 years old and I'm about to hit 44, not long off now. And the oldest memory that I have now, actually have two, and I think they were around the same time, which is why I'm going to refer to these. So the story starts when I was 3 years old, and we had moved away from the house that we lived in to actually the house that my mum lives in now. And our neighbours were really good family friends, and they had a son the same age as me. But we were out the front playing with my sister and brother and his brothers, sort of like there was a whole lot of us. And in those days it wasn't unusual for the kids to be playing out in the front of the garden in a little quiet cul-de-sac and stuff like that. Decided to go for a little adventure, and we walked away from the street and went missing. Now I recall it getting dark and being at a play park where there was like, do you remember the old swings that they used to make out of tyres? And I remember playing on those, like trying to get up onto them and stuff and swing, and we were there and it was getting dark and we kind of didn't register that there was anything wrong. And there was a house and some ladies kind of started to come out, and they saw us and how young we were and that there was no adults around. and they called us into their home, and actually it was like a WI meeting, like a group meeting they'd been having at a lady's house, and they called the police. And luckily I knew my phone number of the house that we'd just moved to off by heart, and I told them that, and these ladies called the police, and that's how we got reunited with our parents. And I remember, I know that parts of that memory might have been filled in by my mum at points, but I do actually remember those things that I said. So when I was 3, so 40 years ago, I have memories. And the other one is in that same street. So I don't know whether it's when we still lived there or just as we've moved around out and we were visiting. But I tripped near, like, there was garages there for cars, and I have a scar on my knee to this day. I tripped and fell onto a brick, and it cut my knee open, and I remember that happening. So there you go. That's how far back my memory goes. So I have memories of when I was 3 years old, so almost 41 years ago. So there you go. That's how good my memory is. Not that you ever doubted it, because I know you're going to watch this video. Next question is, what is my favourite type of food? Now, this is, if you ask me what my favourite meal is, my favourite meal is my mum's lamb stew. It is just, oh, scrumptious. But types of food, I think my types of food that I like changes quite a lot. I love the ramen soup things, and I've started making them here myself. And I love Chinese food. I love Italian. I love pasta. I'm not overly crazy on pizza, but I do like it. But I prefer pasta meals. I like a good burger, like a good steak, roast dinner, you know. But definitely right now, it's kind of Thai and ramen, especially. That's my favourite food type of food at the moment. It was pancake day yesterday, actually, and my next question is, what is your favourite pancake topping? This is totally dependent on the type of pancake. So in the UK, we tend to make like the crepe pancakes, and if it's one of those ones, I'm very simple, lemon and sugar. I just don't think you can beat it on a crepe pancake. Roll it up, and oh, that's me done. However, American style pancakes, where do I start on the kind of toppings? But I don't think you can beat going to IHOP, which, in case you didn't know it, is International House of Pancakes, which is a chain in the United States. And you can order pancakes there, and they come out with different kinds of toppings, but then on the table they have like different syrups, whether it be like a maple syrup, strawberry, blueberry, and all this kind of stuff. And you can just play around with the kind of things you have on your pancakes there. So IHOP for American style, like just the choices, just go through them. And for crepe style, sugar and lemon. The next question is about travel, which is, if you could travel anywhere new, where would it be and why? Now, anyone who knows me knows that, like, travel and holidays and just getting away is my passion. That's what I love. And in fact, that's why I started this channel. I wanted to show people that, you know, you could still get out there and do these things, and being a disabled person as well, kind of how you can make things accessible. And that was why I started this channel. However, I literally started it, and 3 months later the global pandemic hit, and so I haven't travelled anywhere. So if I could travel anywhere new, during lockdown last summer, Scott and I created this little bowl, and in it we put all the different places in the world that were kind of our priorities. And look how many there are in there. There's loads. We actually drew a place out of here, and the place we drew out of here is Santorini in Greece. So I guess this is the list of places, and the first place will be Santorini. But if I just pull out a few more to give you an idea of like the kind of names of places that are on here, let's have a look. So Poland, Vienna, Beijing, Bruges, Cape Town, Atlanta, Wellington, Yellowstone Park, Boston, Cancun, Kefalonia, Mallorca. See, there's a real mixed bag of absolutely everything in this jar. So that is the answer to that question. Quite a long answer, actually. The next question I had is, where is the first place you're going to visit when you're allowed to travel again? Aside from having a get together with all my family and all my friends, I think that our kind of first priorities, there's two. We actually cancelled a trip to Thailand. We were supposed to go last October. So that is priority number one. And number two is we had planned to go to Florida this year, which isn't likely. Our two priorities are Thailand and Florida. The next question I had is, which moment of your life would you like to live over again? God, what a brilliant question. Honestly, I really had to think hard about this because I could have gone down like a bit of a somber, sad route, or I could have gone down the happy route, and then I actually found something in the middle, which, let me explain why. My choice would be to relive doing the backpacking trip across America in the year 2000 with my best friend. The reasons why I'd want to live it again is, one, the things that we did, the things we got up to and experienced while we were there. When I think back at those memories, I just sometimes think, God, was that real? Did I do that? Did I go to those places? Did I see that? Did I do that? And it fills me with joy, absolute joy. However, the trip was tinged with sadness because 3 months prior to the trip, my dad passed away suddenly. So I was still very much in that filled with grief. I hadn't even began to process the loss of my dad, and so it did make the trip tinged with sadness, and there were moments that were really tough to get through, but we did get through them, like with the support of my best friend. My best friend is like my sister, so when I lost my dad, she lost someone in her family too, and she was there for me 100%. And also, that was the time when I actually started getting the symptoms of my ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, which I have. And so I had to kind of say to her, I need to rest quite a lot, which she didn't have a problem with. But when you're traveling backpacking across America, and you have a limited time to do it, kind of, you don't want to have to spend your time stopping to rest quite so much. So yeah, definitely I think that would be the answer. The final question in this video is, what is your favourite childhood memory? Now, I had a great childhood, so it's really hard to pinpoint just one. And I thought really hard about this, and because the question is, your favourite childhood memory, I'm going to choose the first time that my parents took me to Florida. It was 1990 and I was 13 years old, and just I remember so many things, even the fact of, like, before we travelled, my mum took me out and bought me a new shell suit tracksuit to travel in, so I looked like nicely dressed in a shell suit, folks. It was the 90s. And I remember us being in a restaurant, and there was like a guy, and he was like telling us that there was an alligator like just down the road outside, like wild. And that was just like, what? And then, of course, going to Walt Disney World for the first time. And at the time, I was absolutely obsessed with Chip and Dale, the Rescue Rangers, and also the Teenage Mutant, in my day, Hero Turtles, not Ninja Turtles, Hero Turtles. And they were at Hollywood Studios, or what they were then, it was MGM Studios. And seeing them, and there's photos of me with Michelangelo because he's my favourite turtle. And it's just going to like the Disney water theme parks, and I'm pretty sure it's Typhoon Lagoon. And yeah, so I guess my first trip to Florida. That was my last question, my Q&A. You can tell by my answers surely how much I do have a passion for travel and how much I'm missing getting out in the world. But it was really nice to sit and do this, and to sit and think about all these amazing memories and or plans for the future. I really absolutely loved it. You sent a question to me. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot to me because it means that it helps me create content as well. So you're amazing. And if you stuck around this long, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week. Lots of love.